The trap only works if you lunge. The trap does not spring by itself. No hook sets itself. The line only tightens when something lunges. Everything people call conflict happens after something else. After interpretation. After assumption. After meaning has already been assigned. But there is a space before all of that. A fraction. A silence. A gap. It is so small that it feels non-existent. Yet it is the most powerful territory in the entire structure of perception. Before the reaction, there is a pause. Before the defense, there is a flicker. Before the attack, there is a microscopic hesitation. That hesitation is not weakness. It is sovereignty. The world trains attention to move downstream. Look at what happened. Look at what they did. Look at the insult. Look at the loss. But all of that is already too late. The real leverage is upstream. The gap is the moment before identity engages, before the self assembles, before the narrative locks in. In that space, nothing has been named yet. Nothing has been judged yet. Nothing has been attacked yet. A fisherman fears one thing more than a snapped line, the one that got away. Not because of loss, but because of invisibility. If the fish turns left instead of lunging forward, the line never tightens. The bait remains untouched. The fisherman never knows there was even consideration. It becomes a non-event, a non-story. The fish cannot see the line. It only becomes visible through tension. Slack is invisible. Taut is dramatic. Once commitment happens, the line appears. Before commitment, there is only open water. The illusion of inevitability says the bite was bound to happen. It says the reaction was automatic. It says the self had no choice. But inevitability is constructed after the fact. It is narrative gravity. The gap interrupts gravity. It is the moment where turning is possible. Left instead of forward. Right instead of attack. Pause instead of bite. In that turn, identity collapses. Because identity requires commitment. Identity requires tension. Identity requires a line pulled tight between me and that. Without tension, there is no hook. Without hook, there is no victim. Without victim, there is no fisherman. The fisherman only exists in tautness. In slack, he is a rumor. The ego survives on speed, instant labeling, immediate meaning, rapid defense. Speed creates the illusion that reaction was unavoidable. But the gap reveals choice before identity hardens. It is the jumping off point. Not jumping into behavior, jumping out of inevitability. The worst thing for a fisherman is not resistance. It is indifference. A fish that never commits never enters the story. The line remains slack. The surface remains calm. No struggle. No splash. No proof that temptation even occurred. This is upstream perception. This is where the course points. Not to managing behavior after tension forms, but to noticing the microsecond before the self forms. Before me appears as threatened. Before them appears as cause. In the gap, there is no committed identity. There is only awareness without tension. And without tension, the structure of opposition cannot stand. The gap does not fight the hook. It renders it irrelevant. It does not argue with inevitability. It exposes inevitability as momentum unexamined. Every grievance requires a taut line. Every attack requires a committed bite. Every identity
requires reinforcement through reaction. The gap dissolves all three, not by force, by non-commitment, by turning before tension, by refusing to harden into a self that must defend. When the turn happens upstream, nothing dramatic occurs. No battle, no victory, no fisherman lamenting the one that got away. Because in slackness, there is no evidence of conflict. The gap is quiet, but it is the only place where nothing has gone wrong yet. And that means it is the only place where nothing needs to be repaired. Live from the gap, and identity cannot solidify around threat. The line never tightens. The hook never sets. The story never forms. And the ocean remains sovereign.